Today we will talk about an ancient festival that became the predecessor of Valentine's Day. These are the Lupercalia, an unusual and even somewhat strange Roman festival for modern people dedicated to fertility, love, and purification. Let's travel back to ancient Rome and learn how it was celebrated, what traditions are associated with it, and why it is so important for history. Lupercalia was an ancient Roman festival celebrated every year on the 15th of February. Its roots go deep into the past, even before the founding of Rome. It is believed to be connected with the legend of Romulus and Remus, the founders of the Eternal City. According to legend, they were nursed by a she-wolf in a cave at the foot of the Palatine Hill. It was this cave, called Lupercal, that gave the festival its name. Interestingly, it was considered a sacred place and access to it was restricted. Only priests and the chosen ones could enter there, especially during rituals. Lupercalia was dedicated to Faunus, the god of fertility, forests and shepherds. He was also called Lupercus, which means protector from wolves. The festival symbolized purification, renewal, and the awakening of nature after winter. But most importantly, it was associated with fertility, both of the land and of people. In those times, people were heavily dependent on nature, and such festivals helped them feel connected to the gods who, they believed, controlled their destinies. The festival began with an unusual ritual. Priests called Luperci gathered in the sacred Lupercal Cave. There they sacrificed a goat and a dog. The goat symbolized fertility and the dog purification. After the sacrifice, the priests stripped to the waist and prepared for the main action. This moment was very important because nudity symbolized a return to nature, to the origins of life. The priests rubbed their bodies with the blood of the sacrificial animals and then cleansed them with milk. This was a symbol of death and rebirth that accompanied many ancient rituals. Then the Luperci took straps made from the skin of the sacrificial goat and ran out into the streets of Rome. They ran around the Palatine Hill and whipped these straps on everyone they met along the way. They especially tried to hit women because it was believed that such a blow brings fertility and eases childbirth. Women themselves submitted to the blows, believing in the magical power of the ritual. Interestingly, this ceremony was not only symbolic but also had practical significance. The blows from the straps stimulated blood circulation, which, according to the ancients, contributed to health and well-being. This ritual looks strange to us today, but for the ancient Romans, it was an important part of life. They believed that in this way, they could protect themselves from evil forces, strengthen health, and ensure prosperity. Additionally, Lupercalia was a time when social norms weakened, and people could allow themselves more freedom. It was a festival that united everyone, from ordinary citizens to nobility. Although Lupercalia was primarily associated with fertility, it also had a connection to love. During the festival, young people participated in a kind of lottery. Girls wrote their names on tablets and threw them into a special vessel. Young men drew the tablets, and thus pairs were formed who could become lovers for the duration of the festival or even for the whole year. This tradition was not only entertainment, but also a way to strengthen social bonds. In those times, marriages were often arranged for practical reasons, and such lotteries gave young people a chance to experience feelings that could lead to true love. This tradition resembles modern associations with Valentine's Day, when people exchange declarations of love and gifts. But in ancient Rome, everything was much simpler and more straightforward. Love and fertility were inseparably linked, and the Lupercalia festival reflected this connection. People believed that the gods would bless their families and help them raise healthy children. Furthermore, Lupercalia served as a kind of reminder of the natural laws governing human life. Relationships between men and women were viewed not only from the perspective of feelings, but also as an important part of the life cycle, continuation of the lineage, and strengthening of society. The rituals of this festival, which seemed barbaric to later epochs, had deep symbolism and reflected the ancient Romans' ideas about human harmony with nature. Interestingly, unlike modern Valentine's Day, which is filled with romantic atmosphere, Lupercalia had a more physical and even playful character. For example, participation in the festive runs with strap blows was not considered an aggressive action, but rather a symbolic touch to the power of nature, promoting fertility and health. Some young couples formed during the festival subsequently got married, which confirms the social significance of this tradition. Thus, although the form of expressing love has changed over the centuries, the essence remains the same. People strive for closeness, unity, and finding a partner with whom they can share their life. With the spread of Christianity, many pagan festivals, including Lupercalia, began to lose their significance. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius I banned the celebration of Lupercalia, calling it pagan and unacceptable for Christians. However, some elements of the festival were preserved. For example, the tradition of seeking a partner and expressing feelings transformed into the more familiar Valentine's Day for us. Interestingly, Pope Gelasius I did not just ban the festival, but also tried to replace it with a Christian equivalent. He declared the 14th of February as the Day of Remembrance of Saint Valentine, who, according to legend, secretly married lovers despite the emperor's ban. Thus, the Christian Church tried to give new meaning to ancient traditions. Although Lupercalia has long since faded into oblivion, its influence can be seen in modern traditions. The idea of a festival dedicated to love and fertility is still alive today. We continue to celebrate Valentine's Day, albeit in a more romantic form. And the tradition of giving gifts and confessing love perhaps originates precisely from the ancient Roman Lupercalia. Today, we give each other flowers, chocolate, and cards, but the essence remains the same. It is a holiday that reminds us of the importance of love and human relationships. Interestingly, Lupercalia was not the only festival associated with fertility and love. Different cultures had similar traditions, each reflecting the unique perceptions of the people about nature, love, and divine patronage. For example, the ancient Greeks had a festival in honor of the goddess of love Aphrodite, Aphrodisia. This day was celebrated differently in various polis, but in general, it was dedicated to the glorification of beauty, love, and procreation. In the city of Corinth, where the cult of Aphrodite was especially developed, her temple served not only as a place of worship, but also as a center for ritual prostitution, which, according to Greek notions, contributed to the welfare of society. In Athens on this day, white doves, birds dedicated to the goddess, were sacrificed, and young men and women adorned themselves with flowers, arranging games and feasts. The Celts had the festival of Beltane, which marked the beginning of the warm season and the flourishing of nature. It was celebrated on the night of the 1st of May, lighting huge bonfires that symbolized purification and fertility. It was believed that couples jumping over the fire would receive a blessing for a happy life and the birth of healthy children. On this night, young people could choose companions, and traditional marriage vows were often made after Beltane. Additionally, on this day, ritual dances and sacrifices to the gods were arranged to ensure the fertility of fields and cattle. Similar traditions existed among the ancient Germans, who revered the goddess of love and fertility, Freya. Festivals in her honor were accompanied by rituals associated with the call for fertility, and in some regions, priests and priestesses practiced ritual marriages that symbolized the union between humans and gods. All these festivals are united by a common idea: the glorification of life, love, and nature. However, Lupercalia stands out with its unique mixture of rituals, which combined fun, even playful elements with serious purification rituals and sacrifices. Unlike many other festivals, Lupercalia was closely associated not only with love, but also with protection from misfortunes and evil spirits. Their traditions might have seemed harsh or even crude, but for the ancient Romans, they symbolized something more: renewal, harmony with nature, and the patronage of gods. Today, when we celebrate Valentine's Day, we rarely think about its ancient roots. But the history of Lupercalia reminds us of how important it is to remember our origins. This festival was not just entertainment, but an important part of the life of ancient Romans. It helped them feel connected to nature, gods, and each other. And although today we do not run through the streets with goat straps, the spirit of Lupercalia continues to live in our hearts. We still strive for love, happiness, and well-being, and this, perhaps, is the most important thing that unites us with our distant ancestors.